So before going to discuss about today's class, so we recap what we discussed last class. I think we discussed about profiles, right? How to create profiles and how to assign profile to the user, and what is the advantage for profile, why we are creating profile, and all we discussed already. So today we are going to discuss about profile permissions. So before going to discuss, I think already we discussed about how to assign profile to the existing user. Already we have assigned to manager Sam user. Okay. And also why go for the custom profile? Again, I'm repeating some of the permissions not possible to modify in standard profile. Do you want to enable or deactivate the permissions for standard profile? It is not possible. So that could be the reason we are going to create a custom profile. So in that custom profile we can do anything, means we can do any permissions enable or disable. Okay, so this is the main reason we go for the custom profile. So now I'm going to log in with this user in separate browser, and let's see each permission how it is applicable, and so how it is impacted for the user. Okay, so I think already I have logged in for separate browser. Maybe let's see. Right. Yeah, this is the user. So now I'm going to switch to classic so that we can verify first classic. But whatever permissions we are enable or disable, it is same for both classic and lightning. As of now, which profile we are cloned? As of now, we are cloned for system administrator profile. So already system administrator profile, whatever permissions we have, same permissions, it is cloned for new profile. Okay, now click on edit. So how to open the profile? So either you can directly open the user. In user page, we have a link called profile, which profile is assigned to the user. Otherwise, we have a standard navigation. Go to the profile, and here you can select which profile you are going to modify. Okay. Once open the profile, so there is a click on edit button so that the profile mode is changed to edit mode. Let's see one by one what are the profile permissions we have. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about profile permissions. Already last class we provided list of permissions what it is available. Let's see one by one. First one is custom map settings. Okay, so this is the first permission. What is that? Custom app settings. What is custom app settings means? So in organization is contain multiple applications. When user log into the Salesforce, which applications user want to access? See now, if you go to user now, if you go to user, if you go to app setup, see these many applications user is going to access, even lightning applications and classic applications. Okay, so do you want to hide any application in classic, or do you want to hide any application in lightning? Then by using custom app settings we can hide or show the application. Now so think like this user Sam user is working only for IT internal application. Remaining applications we need to disable. How to disable the remaining applications? Where to disable? So we can disable applications in profile, and if you want to enable, we can enable as well. Go to the profile now. So here see, here all the listed applications whatever in there in organization, everything it is showing here. Which applications user want to access, then we can enable. Which applications user doesn't want to access, then we can disable. See, suppose I'm going to disable all the applications, and only I'm going to enable IT related application, IT internal application in lightning, and IT internal application is classic. So I want to make it default application is classic application, and the remaining applications I'm going to deactivate. So like this we can control the application access for particular profile user. Suppose in organization contain multiple users. Suppose you are modified only manager IT profile, then the changes are applicable to all the users? No. The changes are applicable only for this profile users. This profile, whoever assigned to this profile, only those users can get the access for the changes, whatever changes you are going to modify. Now click on save now. Click on save. See now, once it is saved, go to the user page. Previously, user is accessing more than one application. Now we can refresh now. See, now we can refresh. There is no app setup here. Why? Because by default, it is open for IT internal application. Remaining applications, it is disabled. Where we are going to disable? In profile only. So that is the related for application permission. Okay. So how to remove the application means how to remove the access. Go to the profile, go to the custom app settings, and we can disable or enable which permissions it is required. Suppose I'm going to enable sales application. Okay, sales lightning and sales classic. If you click on save now, now user is having more than one application. Now it is visible app setup. See now it is visible. If you want to switch from one application to another application, we can use for app setup to switch from one application to another application. When it is required app setup, if user is having more than one application access. If user is having only one application access, by default it is open for which application user is having, and automatically this option is disabled. Okay, this is something like custom app settings. Hope you clear. We can hide or show the application to the user specific to profile. Okay, this if user is having more than one application access, then app setup is visible to the user in classic. Okay, this is classic only. Lightning anyway, that app setup by default it is there. Okay, in classic, when that app setup is not available, means so that is something like if user is not having more than one application. Now go to again default user. This is the profile. Click on edit now. What is the next permission? See now next permission is tab settings. Okay, tab settings. What is tab settings? See, tab settings in profile, there is a three permissions we have. By using this option, we can enable or disable tab permissions. So what are the tab permissions we have? Tab permissions are one is default on. One more is default off, and the next one is tab hidden. Okay, what is default on? Default on means tab is visible on tab panel. If it is a default off, tab is visible in all tabs. So when click on plus symbol, the tab is visible. Okay, tab hidden means tab is completely hide for the user. What is the advantage for tab? By using tab only, user can access the object and the user can able to enter the data. Without tab, it is not possible to access the object. Indirectly, tab is controlled for object access, and we can able to access object based on tab only. Tab is nothing but it is a user interface between user and object, right? So now let's see how it is visible for the tab object. Example, I'm going to make it account is tab hidden. Okay, sir, default on. And one more object is, can you go to user? So this is the user, right? IT internal application. I'm going to make it account is default on, contact is default off. Maybe I'm going to disable Zomato order or academics. Let's see. So default off is contact object example, and also if you go to tab hidden academics object. Let's see, I'm going to change how it is available. Go to here, where is the account? Already it is a default on. Okay, now if you go to contact object, where is the contact here? Here is the contact, we can make it as default off. Okay, and also academics is the custom object. I'm going to make it tab hidden. Let's see how the objects are visible to the user, how the tabs are visible to the user. Let's see one by one. Just click on save now. I think someone, can you please mute? Some noise is coming. Right. Now go to the user. Now before refreshing, account, contacts and academics are visible in tab panel. Now just refresh. See, now account is visible in tab panel. This is the tab panel. If it is default, if it is a tab is default on, the tab is visible on tab panel. This is the tab panel, means user interface. If the tab is default off means the tab is available for all tabs. How to open all tabs? If you go to plus symbol, see here, this is the all tab option. If you click on alt plus symbol, see here, we have an option called contacts. If you want, you can use the contacts as well. Okay. Now what is the tab hidden? Academics. If you search with academics, still it is there. Just refresh now. This is I think standard object. It is not a custom object. Oh, it is a custom. Let me check now. One second. Go to manager IT profile. Oh, sorry. I'm checking in user level, right? Click on plus symbol. Sorry. I'm checking in my admin account. So not admin account. Go to the user account. Don't confuse. Go to the user account and refresh. See, account is visible on tab panel, and click on plus symbol. It is available for contact, is available for under all tabs. Now see, there is no any academics tab. So if the tab is disabled or if the tab is completely hide at profile level, then user is unable to access that particular object via tab. Okay, so the tab is completely hide for the user. So user is not able to perform any activities related to that object. Okay, so this is something like tab permissions in profile level. Okay, hope you got it. What are the three permissions? Again, I'm repeating, default on means it is available for tab panel. If it is a default off means it is available under plus symbol. If it is a tab hidden means it is completely hide for the user. User is not able to create any record or view the record or delete the record for a particular object if the tab is hide. Okay, this is. Now what is the next permission? These permissions are very important, guys. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know. Click on edit now. Next permission is, once tab permissions are completed, now we can go to administrative permission. See, if user is getting any insufficient access, okay, in future in user is getting any insufficient access while accessing options or something, then we can check for administrator permission. So in administrator permission, there is a more than 100 options we have. Do you want to remember all the options? No, not required. Okay, so no one will ask any questions about related to these permissions. Okay, so if you want to enable particular permission, or if you want to disable any permission, the error itself they're going to check, they're going to mention the profile, this is the permission is missing. In case the error that error itself not mentioned any permission, then we can check in related document, so that they in the document they clearly mention which option it is not available or it is disabled for the user. Okay, simply administrator permissions is nothing but these are the permissions. If you go to setup, see, this is the setup permission. So if user when click on profile something, if user click on profile, if user is getting insufficient access, or if user is not able to open the profile, or user is not able to edit the profile, then you can check in administrator permission if the any permission is disabled for the user. So I will tell you simple thing. Setup option is available, right? I'm going to disable setup option. Just you can search like view setup. See here, view setup and configuration. If you disable this option, see view roles, hierarchy, everything it is disabled. See, now it is disabled. See, almost few options are disabled for the user. Let's see whether user is getting view setup configuration or not. Click on save now. I disabled just setup menu for the user. Now go to refresh now. See, now it is getting insufficient access. Previously user is able to edit the profile, now user is getting insufficient access. Why? Because sorry, user is not having access to view the profile. So user not having setup option also. User simply create the data. See, this is how it is having Flipkart application, Amazon application, everything, right? So we don't require for any setup option. We don't want to enable any security model. We don't want to create any data or something, right? Simply we want to see the data, or we want to see the products, what they're going to sell, and we want to order the product. So this is how Flipkart or Amazon application it is showing for us. Okay, clear? Or any questions? What is administrator permissions? So this is something like setup permissions. Okay, so administrator permissions and some general user permissions. General user permissions means any data level permissions. Suppose user want to create a lead, or user want to convert the lead, or user want to edit the lead. So some of the data or some of the objects user want to do any activities, then we can check for these are the permissions available. Okay, again I'm telling, no need to remember these permissions. When user is getting insufficient privileges error, then you can check for profile permissions whether disabled or enabled for the user. Okay, whenever user is not having any permissions at profile level, either it is a user level permissions or maybe administrator setup related permissions, then user is getting insufficient privileges. Okay, when user is getting this error, if any profile administrator permissions or maybe general user permissions are missing, then user is getting this error. Okay, hope you clear. No need to remember this all the permissions. Okay, so administrative and general user permissions. Okay, so generally user is getting insufficient privilege error when user is not having these permissions. Okay, permissions. So no need to remember all the permissions based on error or navigation, or maybe navigation. You can check related profile and enable the permission to the user. Okay, this. So this is something like administrator and general user permissions. Next permissions are object permissions. Okay, object permissions, very very important in object permissions. Generally in profile we are object permissions, there is a two types of permissions we have. Okay, object level permissions, actually two types of permissions we have. If you go to profile, see here there is a two types of permissions. One is the standard object permission and another one is the custom object permission. Okay, again see, standard object and custom object permissions are same only, but the section is different, sections are enabled. Standard object permissions, it is available for all the standard objects list out in that particular section. If it is a custom object permissions, that is a brand new objects, whatever you are going to create per object, so that objects are custom objects and the section is disabled, the section is available for separately. Okay, but remaining permissions, enable and disable permissions are same only. Okay, now again object level permissions, there is a two types of permissions we have. One is the basic access permission, one is the data administration permission. Name itself is there. Data administrator permission means this is completely, it is a record level permission. At the time of record level security, I'm going to explain these two permissions. Okay, remaining basic permissions are very important. What is basic permissions means, by using this basic permissions only, user is able to access the object, and also user is able to create the data, update the data and delete the data. Delete the data. Okay. So delete and create permission, it will come under basic access. If you want to use or modify other users data, maybe organization level data, then we are going to enable data administration access. So this will discuss later. At the time of record level security, I'm going to explain in detail. As of now, you can concentrate these two, these four permissions. That is basic access permissions. Okay, right. So, and also basic level of permissions also called as card permissions. We are also called as object level permissions are nothing but card permissions. What is card permissions? Card permissions are nothing but create. C stands for create, U stands for update, and R stands for read, and D stands for delete. Okay. Simply for remembering purpose, we are call it as card permissions. Okay. Let's see what are the card permissions, how it is going to enabled. Okay. See now. So if you go to object, suppose take it as account object. Now user is having account permission, right? If you go to user, click on account now, open all accounts, refresh. I'm going, yes. See now, if user is accessing now 18 records, right? User is accessing 18 records. Now I'm going to disable account permission. Now I'm not giving any permission for account. Even though user is having tab permissions, even though user is having tab permission called default on, if you check the tab permission in above, go to above, what is the account tab permission? Default on. But what is the object level permission? It is disabled completely. Let's save this profile. Let's see what happened. User is going to access account or not. Click on save now. Once it is saved, go to refresh now. Go to refresh. See now, account object is not coming. Now user is getting insufficient access. Why? Because object level permission is disabled. This is one of the interview question. User is having tab permission called default on, but still user is not able to access object, means object level permissions are disabled. When user is going to access object, means there is a minimum level of permission called read permission. At least user is having read permission, then only the tab permissions, whatever permissions are available related to object, it is applicable to the user. Okay. See now, I'm going to enable, click on edit now, manager IT profile, go to the object level permission. Now I'm going to enable read permission. So if you are going to enable read permission, then user is able to access the object, but user is not possible to create the data. See now, account object is visible. Now click on account. Previously user is having new button, but user don't have now, user not having any edit and delete permission. See, if you click on Axis Bank branch, main branch account, see, is there any edit permission? No. If you click on inline editing also, it is not working. Why? Because profile permission, profile level edit and delete permission is disabled. User is having only view access. So user is having only read access. User can read the data, but we don't have edit and delete permission. Same example for Flipkart. Okay. So you can see the product. We can see the product and we can see the product details, everything. But you don't have edit permission. You don't have delete permission. Similar kind of permission they're applied in backend. Okay. So this is now. So what is create permission? If you go to profile, if you go to profile again, go to the object level permission, enable create permission. Let's see what will happen. Click on save now. Click on save. Now go to here, refresh. See now, new button is available. Means user is able to create now new record. If you click on new button, see user is going to create a new data. Okay, but user is going to edit the data. If you open the existing record, is there any edit permission? No. We don't have edit permission. Why? Because in profile level, user is having only read and new button. There is no any edit button. Okay, edit and delete button. Suppose I'm going to enable remaining permissions. Click on edit now. Now go to manager IT profile, object level permission. I'm going to enable edit and delete permission both. See, if you enable create permission, read permission, automatically it is enabled. If you enable edit permission, read permission, automatically it is enabled. If you enable delete permission, read and edit permission is enabled. What is the minimum level of permission to the object profile level in object permission is read permission. So then only user is going to access object, even though user is having tab access. If it is this permission is disabled, then user is not able to access that particular object. Okay, so this is, so click on save now. Now user is having 4 permissions: create, delete, edit. If you go to user now you can refresh. Now user is going to modify the data. See, now edit button is available, and also if you go back, delete button also available. If user want to delete, you can delete the data. Okay, so where these button permissions are controlled, object level permissions at profile level. Okay, if you enable read permission, user can see the account object and account data. If you enable create permission, user can see the new button. If you are enable edit permission, user can see the edit button. If you enable delete permission, user can see the delete button. Okay, if any button is not available for the user, then maybe check profile level, object level permissions, whether the permissions are enabled or not. Okay, this one, right. Now, so what is the basic permissions? Basic permissions, take it as object name, just object name, which button is enabled, permissions, and buttons are enabled. Buttons are enabled. Right. So if object is account, profile permission is read permission, then user can access object and see the data. Okay, particular record. And also object is account. If user is enabled, profile level permission is create. So user can access new button and user can create the record. User can create a new record. Okay, new record. If object is account, if user is enabled for edit permission, then which button user can access? User can access edit button, and the user can modify the existing record. Okay, this one. Again, object is account, user is having delete permission, then user can access delete button, and user can delete record. Okay, this. So these are the object permissions we have. Object basic level of permission. What is minimum level of permission at object level? Minimum level of permission is read permission. Why I am call it as minimum level of read permission? At least user required read permission to access the object. Otherwise, if user is not having read permission, user is not able to perform any activity, and also user is not able to access any data related to that particular object. Okay, this is something like object level permissions. There is a 2 types of permissions we have. One is the basic level of permission, and another one is another data administration. Data administration at the time of record level permissions I'm going to explain. As of now, you can understand only basic level of permissions. You can enable that object level permission, which button is enabled and which button is disabled, that you can check with user level. Okay, right. Next, finally, one more is session settings. Session settings. What is session settings? So here, if you click on edit now, there is next permissions called session settings. See here, there is a session timeout after means 24 hours inactivity, 12 hours and 8 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay. So did you observe or not? If you log in with any internet banking, if you are not doing anything, simply you logged in after 5 minutes, maybe after 1 or 2 minutes, again you can do any transfer or something, automatically session is timeout. Means if you are not doing any activities for once you logged in internet banking, the certain time interval, maybe 1 minute, or maybe some bankings are enabled 5 minutes, some bankings are giving 10 minutes, or some bankings are giving only 1 minute for session active period. Okay, if you are continuously working, session is not going to deactivate, or session is not going to time out. If you are not doing anything, if you are not doing anything, after 2 hours, automatically the system is log out for this session. Again, you have to log into the Salesforce and you have to do the activities. Okay, that is something like session settings. Session settings means once you logged in Salesforce, if you are not doing anything, based on this time interval, automatically the session is time out. Again, you have to log in with username and password. Okay, this is what is session security level required at login. See, if you are high assurance, you have to provide the security questions and all. So whenever you log in again, you have to use the security questions whatever you are using. Okay, if internet banking and all, it is asking, right? So sometimes we are using multi-factor authentication, means we need to approve the mobile. Okay, then only it is able to log in. That and all we'll discuss later. Multi-factor authentication, how it is enabled. Okay, this one. So this is something like session settings. So already you people are aware of this. So most of the websites most of the websites they're enabled session settings are backend. If you are not doing anything while after login to the application, automatically based on time interval, the session is logged out. Okay, again you have to log in with username and password. Now come to password policies. This is also very important in password policies. So generally, password policies are two types we have. Okay, one is organization level, and another one is profile level. Profile level we have. Okay, what is organization level means? Irrespective of the profile, these password policies applicable for all users irrespective of the profiles. Okay, so how to enable in organization level means, if you go to Salesforce now, go to setup, there is a password policies we have. Just search with your password policies. Under security controls, we have a password policies. If you open the password policies, whatever settings are available at profile level, same settings available in organization level as well. Okay, organization level as well. We can get to know, so what is profile level options, same options it is applicable for organization level as well. Setup, administer, sorry, administer, security controls, and also there is a password policies. Okay, this is the navigation. Now what is why profile level it is enabled? So if you want to enable specific users, so specific users want to enable, then use profile level password policies. Profile level password policies. Okay, this one. So same, open the profile and enable. I'm going to explain one by one. See, now user expired, password expired on 90 days. See, already some of the people are working in IT company, right? So did you observe or not? So in IT company, every 3 months, every 3 months we need to reset the Outlook password. Okay, you can get an email like the password is expired soon, you have to reset. The password is set up after 90 days. After 90 days, automatically the mail is triggered to the employee to change the new password. So here also, if user want to reset password every 90 days, we can select the 90 days. So these are the options we have. If you put never expire, the password is never expired. Okay, if you don't want that much security, so the password once user is set up, it is never expired, then you can set never expired. So no need to reset the password every time. Okay, if user want to reset every 30 days, then after 30 days, the old password is expired and the user want to set up a new password. That is something like user password expired on. Okay, generally the default one is 90 days. Even 90 days, even Outlook or maybe some IT companies also following 90 days only. Every 3 months we need to reset the password. Okay, now enforce password history. 3 password remember. See, here we have 1 password remember, 2 password remember, 90, 20, 24 password remember we have. See, suppose first time we are setting the password like example SFDC at 1989. Okay, this is the first password. Okay, again SFDC at 2018. Okay, these are the 2 password. Suppose I'm going to mention there is a 2 password remember. Okay, again user whenever reset the user for new password, can user is accessing for existing password? Can user is set up for existing password? Yes, that is something like password remembered. Enforce password history. So we can use old password for new password to access the application. That is something like password remember. Okay, see, suppose whenever third time user is going to reset the password, then user is set the SFDC at 1989. So only up to 2 passwords it is allowing. So if you remember last password, 2 passwords, you can set the 2 passwords. Any old 2 passwords, it is allowing to set the new password. That is something like password remember. But it is not a recommendable. So generally passwords are you can use for new password every time we need to reset the password. Sometimes user is specifically asking, I want existing password to set up a new password. Then we can change this option either 24 passwords or 23 password, whatever option it is suitable. Okay, now minimum password length. So minimum password length default it is 8. If you want to increase 10, 15, 20, then you can increase the 50. So some banking passwords it is allowing more than 10 characters. Some application passwords it is allowing 4 characters. Some application password it is allowing 15 characters or minimum 12 characters are required. Same like here also you have to set the password length. And also password complexity requirement. See, as of now, it is allowing only number, alphanumeric characters only, right? So now these are the password complexity we have. So generally, this is the password it is available for banking application. Whenever you set the banking application, we require for small letter, capital letter, special character, and a numeric value. So all the uppercase, lowercase, special character, numbers, everything it is required. The combination of these letters only it is allowing for banking password. Do you want to set the similar kind of password for the user? Then we can select this option. Complex. What complexity it is required? Okay, that is. Now password question requirement. See, suppose when you are set the password question, there is a 3 questions we have, right? So in case contain any password, it is not allowing, right? So suppose if you set the banking, whenever you set the password, it will ask 3 security questions. In future, whenever you reset the password, it will ask for security question. So same password, suppose password you are giving SFDC and question answer also it is giving SFDC, it is not allowing. That is the meaning of this one. If you select the none, you can select the password and the question answer both are same also. It is allowing. Okay. So most of the time default options only we are using. We can leave it as it is. What is invalid login attempts? You know, right? In mobile, you can enter invalid password 10 to 15 times. Automatically, the password is locked. After 1 minute or after 60 seconds or after 2 minutes, it is allowing to enter again password in your mobile only. Same like here also, if you are entered 10 times wrong password, automatically the system is logged out. So again 15 minutes we have to 15 minutes we have to wait. Otherwise, in real time, some people are set for this one. Must be reset by admin. If you are entered for 10 times incorrect password, automatically the system is logged out. You have to contact your system administrator whoever supporting the application. Then only they will reset the password. Otherwise, after 15 minutes, system is going to allow to the enter for new password. You have to wait for 15 minutes minimum. Okay, that is the timing here. Okay, so this is something like invalid login item. I think you people are already aware of this in your mobile as well. If you are enter any wrong password for multiple times, your mobile is not allowing immediately to enter again password. It will wait for at least 1 minute to enter for again re-enter the password. Okay, same like here also. Security answer for reset. Whenever you are reset the password, if you want to use the security questions, then we can use security questions. Otherwise, if you disable this one, you can disable. Okay, require minimum 1 day password lifetime. See, suppose if you reset the password link is sent to the user. The link is at least it will available for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, automatically it is disabled. So if you want to password lifetime, so require only minimum 1 day, we can enable. If you want lifetime, we can disable this. So don't immediately expire link forgot password emails means you can enable this one. This is 1 day email. This is don't expire. Okay. So these are the password policies we have at the profile level. Same type of password policies are available for organization level. If you want to control all users for with the same password, then we can enable for organization level. Or do you want to control only specific profile users, then we can enable for profile level passwords. Okay, so these are the password policies are available in Salesforce. Cancel now. Hope you clear up to now what is custom app settings, tab permissions, general user permissions, object permissions, session settings, and password policies. Any questions, team? Clear before going to next topic? Clear or any confusion?
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir. Right. Next question is, sorry, next topic is same permissions only. So below permissions are enable or disable in detail page or view mode. Okay, view mode. What are the permissions is page layout assignment. This is already but I'm going to show you. Page layout assignment, record type permissions, and also field level security. Okay, let's see page layout assignment first. So the page layout assignment we can enable at object level also, and we can enable profile level also. Okay, this is already how to enable or how to change the page layout, or how to enable the page layout for the user, that we are going to use for page layout assignment. See, suppose if you go to profile, in the profile, few of the permissions we can enable or disable in edit mode, and a few of the permissions we can enable or disable in detail mode. Detail mode means without click on edit, in view mode itself, we can enable or disable few of the permissions. What are the permissions we can enable means, that is page layout related permissions, and also we have field level security, and also we have record level permissions. Okay, so that is below is available record type settings. Okay, let's see now one by one. Page layout assignment. If object is having more than one layout, do you want to change the page layout for existing object? Then we can change the page layout by using page layout option. Okay, see now, take it as example, view assignment. Click on view assignment, it will navigating to here. This is already So if you go to object I will show you. If you go to object, click on object, account object, go to page layout here, go to page layouts. See, there is a button called page layout assignment. Page layout assignment. Now this object is having more than one layout. So in that object having more than one layout, even though having, but there is no any record type. Record types are 0. So now if you want to change the page layout axis, or if you want to change the default layout to support layout or sales layout or marketing layout, we can change for the user. Now as of now, go to account. If you open the existing account, if you click on edit, now see, this is the default account. This is the default account layout. Now if you want to change this account layout to support or something marketing related layout, that you can change. If you click on page layout assignment here, it is navigating to same page only. See, this page also same and this is also same, but only advantage is if you go to here, only the particular profile is highlighting if you change the page layout for profile level. Okay, so now click on edit assignment. I don't want to change the layout for all profile users, only the manager profile only we want to change. Then highlight the manager profile and change the layout, something like this. Click on save now. Now once it is saved, so whoever having manager IT profile access, so the particular users are able to access only marketing layout. Now go to the layout, refresh now. See, now the layout is changed now. Previously annual revenue, everything it is available here. Now it is not there in annual revenue. See, now the additional information is having more and the remaining information is having less compared to default layout. Okay, this is how we can change the layout. If object is having more than one layout, do you want to change the layout from particular users or particular profile users, then we can use for page layout assignment permission. Okay, hope you clear. This is already people are aware of that. If you want to change the page layout object level also we can do, otherwise we can do for profile level as well. Go to the profile again. So what we need to do, if object is having more than one layout, then we can switch from one layout to another layout using this option at profile level. We can change layout at object level as well. Okay, this is the page layout assignment. We can change the object level and also we can change profile level also. When we are going to change the page layout permission, so if object is having more than one layout, if object is having only one layout, do you want to change again? No, right? It's not possible. Again, the object is having only one layout, by default user is accessing that layout only. When we are going to change the layout option in profile level, if object is having more than one layout, then we can go with the layout assignment. Now coming to record type settings, record type permissions. So by using this option, we can enable or disable record types for the users. Okay, how to enable and disable? See, now go to example Zomato order, click on new button. Now this user is having veg order, default order and non-veg order. Now this user required only for default order, this user not required for veg and non-veg related order. How to disable this record types at profile level? Now go to profile and search with record type settings. So go to here record types. See, here we have a scroll down. Here we have a record type settings. In that record type setting, there is a two types of settings we have. One is the standard record type settings, means standard object record type settings. If you scroll down, there is a custom object record type settings also we have. So if you scroll down, this is the custom object record type settings. If you go to Zomato order, if object is having record types, it is showing here list of record types, whatever it is available. Click on edit now. Click on edit. Now we can disable veg order and non-veg order. If you want default order is already it is available. If you want to disable default order, then master is important. Master and default order almost same, but you can use default order. Okay. Now click on save now. Previously, this user is having how many record types access? 3 record type access. Now go to Zomato order. Now click on new button. See, there is no record type selection here. Because of user is having 1 record type access, directly it is open for default layout. See here, veg info, non-veg info, everything it is visible. Okay, so this is how we can enable or disable record types by using profile. Okay, finally, there is a field level security. Field level security, what are the permissions you can enable or what are the permissions you can disable means. So if you go to account, view permission, see here, there is a account, there is a 2 types of permissions we have, read access and edit access. Do you want to disable edit access for the user? You can disable. See, click on edit now. Click on edit. So suppose I'm going to disable account number is edit access. Only read access I'm going to enable. Okay. I'm going to disable annual revenue field for the user. I'm going to disable annual revenue field. Now click on save now. What I did now, field level security. By using this option, we can enable or disable below field level permissions. Field level permissions for specific object. Okay, what are the permissions? One is the read access, and one is the edit access. Edit access. If it is a read access, then user is going to can see the data, can see the particular field data, but not edit. If you're going to edit the axis, user can enter the data. User can enter the field data. Okay, this one. Example, read axis. So example is make it account number. Account number is read axis for manager user and make it annual revenue is disabled to the manager user. Okay, if you go to user, see, annual revenue is disabled and also account number is read access. Now if you go to account, open the account, click on edit now. See now, even though it is read access, still user is able to modify the data. But why user is modify the data means there is a permission called go to the profile. Before going to check the profile, go to view assignment. I'm going to change the default assignment. Select account layout, click on save now. Okay, once it is saved, go to the profile, manager IT profile, click on edit now. Before that, check for annual revenue. Is there any annual revenue? No, it's a disabled. Profile level, it is disabled the field is not available for the user. Okay, now account number we are made it as a read only, but still user is able to enter the data. Why still user is able to enter the data means we have a permission called edit read only fields. See here, edit read only fields, one of the permission is user is having, that is there in administrator permissions. Okay, if you disable this permission, then only user is going to read the data, means the permissions are applicable to the user. So even though field is read only, still user is able to edit the data, means this permission is enabled at a profile level. Now we are disabled. Let's see. Go to save now. Now go to refresh now. This user now refresh. See, account number is read only. User is not possible to enter the data. So that is something like field level security. At profile level, what is field level security means? We can make it field as read only, and also we can make it field as edit mode, and also we can disable the field for the user. Okay, we can disable, means we can disable these two permissions, then user is not able to access the field. Okay, what is that? So one more is no access. No access means disable, 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 disable the fields per object. Okay, this one. These are the three permissions we have at profile level. Okay, so these permissions are nothing but profile level permissions. Okay, hope you got it, how to check the permissions. So what you have to do, first to create a custom profile using system administrator profile is the cloning profile, and also create a user, already people are created, I think so. So assign that custom profile to that particular user whoever it is creating, and enable or disable the permissions by your account, your default account. Whatever custom user you are created, login with a different browser, change the permissions by using your account, and check the login user how the permissions are working, or how the permissions are reflected to the user. Okay, one time practice is enough. One time practice is enough. Okay, so login with your account is separately, and login with user is separate browser, and go to the user profile and change the permissions, and go to that particular browser and refresh the browser whether permissions are applicable to the user, or permissions are enabled or disabled based on your changes. Okay, one time each and every permission we have to practice based on my notes, that is sufficient. And also while enable or disable, you have to check which permissions are you are enabled or which permissions are you are disabled, so you can observe. Okay, this one. So this is something like profile profile level permissions. Now you know what is the use of permission, what is the use of profile, how to create a profile, how to assign the profile to the user, what are the permissions available, and how to control the permissions, which type of data we can control, or which type of components we can control using profile, you know now. Okay, now, so here, what you observed, so already last class I have provided interview question. So if you change any profile permissions, if you change any profile permissions, the permissions are applicable to all users. Okay. Now I will explain some concept and then we'll wind up the session. See, suppose we have a profile called, so this is the profile. This profile is manager profile. Okay, manager profile, and this manager profile assigned to okay, so this is the user. Okay, so this is the user. So user 1, user 2, user 3. Okay, so this is user 1, user 1, and is user 2, user 2, and user 3, user 3. Okay, so this user is nothing but, these users are sales reps, and this user is also sales rep, and here this user is manager. Now, so you can think like object is, we can take it as object is order object. Okay, here also we can think like same object is order object, order object, and this object is order object. So everyone having order object access. And the manager profile is assigned to user 1, and the manager profile is assigned to user 2, and the manager profile is assigned to user 3. Okay, user 1, user 2, user 3, like this. I'm going to give user 1, user 2, user 3. Now this user 1, user 2, user 3 having same profile, and also these three users are accessing object called order object. Okay, order object is having at profile level. Okay, now here the question is, this user is required, order object only for create and edit and delete permission, and also this sales rep also required create, edit and delete. Okay, so he is the manager, he required only for read and edit access. How to achieve this one? Any idea how to achieve? See, suppose in manager profile, three users are having same profile. First one, okay. If three users are having same profile, and so three users required order object permissions, but two users are required three permissions, one user required only two permissions. How to control these permissions with single profile? Is there any possibility? Clear this question? See what I'm telling, right? These three users are having same profile, that is manager profile, but these users are required different permissions. User 1 and user 2 required order object permissions called create, edit, delete, and the user 3 manager required for read and edit permission. This manager not required for create and delete permission. Manager only can observe the orders, what are the orders created today, and is there any modification, manager can go into edit, but manager don't have access to delete the order. Okay, so then what you have to do? How to do these permissions? Can you do the different permissions with the same profile to the all the users? No, right? Yes or no? Suppose if you are enable create, edit, delete permission at profile level, what will happen? Manager also will get the create, edit, delete permission. Suppose only we can enable read and edit, but these users are not having delete permission. Then how to control these different types of permissions with the same profile users? Is there any possibility? No. What is the possibility? We have to create a separate profile, the profile called either manager or sales rep profile, and enable these three permissions to the separate profile, and we can enable these three permissions at manager profile. Means we can create different profile. Suppose, example, this user is having, this profile is assigned to 100 users. 100 users are, maybe 20 users are required separate permission, maybe 10 users are required separate permission, maybe another 10 users are 5 users. Maybe different users are required different permissions with the same profile. Then what you have to do? Do you want to create 100 profiles? Do you want to create n number of profiles? No, that is not a good practice. That is not a good practice. Then how to achieve this one? Means if users are having same profile, or if users are required different permissions or extra permissions apart from what user is getting from profile permissions, then how to enable or disable the permissions? Means that is concept called permission set. Okay, by using permission set, we can enable extra permissions to the user, extra permissions to the users. Okay, when go for the permissions, if the same profile users are required additional permissions, or if the same profile users are required any extra permissions apart from what they're getting from profile, then we can go with the permission set. Okay, so the permission set concept also very important. We'll start from tomorrow. Okay, hope you clear why go for the permission set. Hmm? So profile level, which permission we are going to enable here? In profile level, we can enable, in profile level, we can enable for read and edit, and create a permission set separately and enable delete permission, and this delete permission set assigned to whom? Assigned to user 1 and assigned to user 2, so that this requirement is fulfilled. Okay, so again I'm repeating, if the same profile users are required any additional permissions or different permissions, then we can go with the permission set. Within the profile, it is not possible to give same permissions. Okay, if the profile level, whatever permissions are available, the permissions are applicable to all the users whoever assigned to that particular profile. Okay, it is similar, same permissions only, it is applicable to the all the users. Different permissions it is not possible to enable by using profile. Okay, so how we are going to enable? The concept called permission set. By using permission set, we can enable, additional permissions to the user or extra permissions to the user. We are not overriding any profile permissions are remain same, but if any user is required additional permission called delete or maybe some other permissions, then we can create a permission set, enable the permissions, and assign to that permission set which users are required. Either it is the same profile users or different profile users. Okay, that is the advantage for permission sets that we are going to discuss from tomorrow. Hope you clear. What is difference between profile and permission set? Maybe practically we'll discuss, then only we can get to know. Right. Same, right? July batch. Okay. Do you want assignment? I will give the assignment. Create a manager profile, cloning with system admin profile. Okay, this is the first one. And create a manager user. We can give any name, any username you can give. Okay, manager user and assigned above profile. Okay, above manager profile to the user. Okay, and this one, if already you created user, you can check the license also. Okay, and login with manager user in separate browser and separate browser, and make the changes, make the profile permissions using default account, and check user level how the permissions are applicable to the user, Okay, so this is the assignment we can create. Okay, so either we can use already maybe you created any user for Salesforce license, then we can use existing user. You know already how to set up the password and how to check that, everything we discussed. Okay, so this is something like assignment, you can do that so that you can understand what are the profile permissions are available and how to disable or enable the permissions at profile level. Okay, yes. See, one time practice is enough, guys. No need to practice multiple times. Okay, but whatever you are practicing, check one by one permission, why you are going to enable or why you are going to disable. That is very important. Okay, simply don't simply enable and check the user level, not like that. How it is impacting to the user. So if user is not having that permission, what will happen? Suppose if you disable the object level permission, what will happen? user is not able to perform any activities, right? You have to think always end user perspective. Right.
Sir, I have one question now.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Now we can use the two Salesforce license now. We don't have any other license.
Hmm.
Then I have if we have to something like that. So how to create another one license? So
No,
how
see,
we
user license is the license is enabled. Salesforce is enabled only two, right? Okay,
yes
so
yes
whatever license is available, you have to use within the license only. If you want extra
okay
license, you have to buy from the Salesforce. That is not
yeah
required. Okay, as of now, two licenses are enough, right? So already one license is available for your default account, right? So if you
yes
want
sir
one more license to testing purpose, that is already there. Suppose you are already created, go to that user, you have to change the existing profile, which profile you are going to test. Okay,
okay
that's
okay
it. That is what I have mentioned here. If already user is having, then we can change the profile, and based on the profile modifications, we can check the user level. Okay,
okay sir.
right. So there is separate license. Still, we have three licenses for platform user as well. Okay, so that may be at the time of record level permissions, I'm going to use for Salesforce platform licenses. Okay, that time two users we required to test the functionality. Maybe that time we'll discuss. Once we'll complete the object level permissions, then we'll go with the record level settings. That time we'll discuss about these users, platform users. Okay.